I can't wait to show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to look at the McFarlane Toys Fortnite Havoc action figure. Havoc has already been released in the Jazwares line, but I definitely welcome having a McFarlane version. They're usually a little bit superior on their sculpts. So Havoc here is in camo colors. I've heard a lot of people say he's a good substitute for the G.I. Joe Firefly. There's definitely not one in the 7-inch scale, so I'm sure a lot of people like him for that. So let's go ahead and check out his packaging here. As you can see, Fortnite, 22 moving parts, and McFarlane is usually pretty timid on boasting their articulation. I think they could have bragged on more than that. Epic Games, Havoc, ages 12 plus. There's a little barcode thing here, and I've got all the McFarlane figures, and I've never known what to do with this. If anybody knows, please put in the comment section. You can see here's the actual figure. He comes with a harvesting tool, weapon, back bling, and a stand back there. His back bling is a repeat from the Skull Trooper, the Precision back bling. This is the first time that I can recall McFarlane giving us the same back bling more than once, and for that matter, his pickaxe was included with Jonesy earlier. The top here, Fortnite Havoc. Here's a picture of the guy. McFarlane Toys with the Spawn logo up there. Here he is with his arms crossed, posed up on one side. Here he is a little smaller, same pose on the other side. The bottom, we have a barcode in case anybody needs it, as well as a bunch of credits. And then in the back, here he is pictured with Dyer, another recent release. And you can see several of the other figures from previous waves. You may notice my package is a little bit beat up, indented in here. Shouldn't affect the actual figure, but it's always annoying. I did get my figure from GameStop.com. A lot of the new figures are popping up there, and you can get them there earlier than anywhere else. At GameStop.com, if you spend $50 in in-stock merchandise, you're eligible for free shipping. Of course, they price these guys at $24.99, so even if you get two of them, it's $49.98, making it not eligible for free shipping. I had to wait until there were 3 of these available to claim my free shipping, but frankly, it's quite annoying. Sometimes they offer the pick up in store, but I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. These guys become available on the website, still don't have that feature, so I went ahead and grabbed them. So with no further ado, let's open this guy up. Alright, well now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. And he comes with the traditional McFarlane combo. He has a back bling which is called the Precision. This one has actually been released before with Skull Trooper back in the first assortment. He comes with the Burst Assault Rifle as his weapon. His pickaxe is a default pickaxe. This one has also been re-released. This one came with Jonesy a few series ago. And then he also has the McFarlane stand. But before we look at the accessories, let's take a look at the actual figure. So I'm going to say, this guy looks really cool. He's in the camo colors, got his ammo, love the ski mask on his face, the different shades of gray, camo all over him, bullets, military fatigues. This guy looks pretty nice. He does have that sort of blocky crotch design, but this guy moves a little bit better than some of my previous Fortnite figures. I think maybe they're trying something different. Overall, this guy's looking pretty nice. So next, let's take a look at his accessories. Let's go and start off by checking out his stand. It just has a Fortnite logo, a couple of pegs on there, sort of hollow plastic. I'm really not much of a stand guy. I like my figures to stand up on their own, so this will go into a huge box of stands, never to be seen again. So next let's look at his back bling. This one is called Precision. As you can see, just sort of a backpack, got some gear, different pouches, harness there, a little walkie, and it's got of course the peg which goes into his back. Like I said before, this was already released with the first assortment Skull Trooper figure. And then here's the one that I got from the Skull Trooper, absolutely identical, not even a slight paint difference. And I actually now have 5 of these things, as I bought 4 of those Skull Troopers to use as Scarecrow henchmen in my Batman world. And then here he is wearing his back bling. You can barely tell from the front, but flip him around. It looks good on him, matches his sort of army, cargo, military sort of look. And then here's his back bling next to all the different McFarlane back blings they've released so far. Got a lot of options to choose from, and they are interchangeable between each of the McFarlane figures. And then here's this back bling next to all the different back blings from both McFarlane and the Jazwares Legendary series. A lot of different back blings here. Unfortunately, the Jazwares McFarlane ones are not interchangeable between the two lines. The peg is just a different thickness. It is the only accessory of all their accessories that's not interchangeable. Here are several different McFarlane Fortnite figures wearing each other's back blings, showing that they are customizable and interchangeable between each character. Just like in the game, even though some of them might look weird on other skins, you can still do it. And then, like I said before, unfortunately the back blings are not interchangeable between the two brands. As you can see, here is McFarlane's back bling and here's one of Jazwares. They both have the peg, but they are completely different thickness. If you were to take the back of Havoc here and try to put the Jazwares one in, it simply would not fit. It's just too wide. And if you were to take this Jazwares figure and try to put the McFarlane back bling into it, it would just fall right out. The hole is just too big. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Next, let's look at his harvesting tool, or more commonly known as a pickaxe in the game. This here is a default pickaxe. It doesn't have a name, one you don't have to do anything to earn. You get it right at the get-go. Just a standard pickaxe. It does have some color differences. You can see the gray, the silver, the brown. Mine came in considerably warped because of the way it was in the package, and I used hot water, heated it up, made it real soft, then straightened it out, put cold water on it until it cooled down, thus keeping this straight position now. Like I said before, this one had been released with Jonesy previously. And then here he is holding his pickaxe. It looks pretty good. You can hold it with one hand or two hands. Then of course you have Havoc. He's walking by. Here's a noise. What is that? Chop, chop, chop his way through the wall. And it turns out there's a chest back there making all that noise. And it looks like as he's opened the chest, he's going to get a grenade launcher, some bandages, and boogie bombs. So here it is next to two other default pickaxes that I have. These two here, this one came with Jonesy McFarlane, this one came with Havoc McFarlane, and this one came with Jonesy Jazwares. So these two are exactly the same. I can see the brown is slightly shaded differently. And then this one here is the Jazwares version. So you can see it's pretty much the same thing, a little bit less detailed. And then here's his pickaxe next to all the different pickaxes released so far by McFarlane. A lot to choose from, and they're all interchangeable between the different figures. And then here are all the McFarlane and Jazwares Legendary series pickaxes put together. We have a whole lot to choose from, and they are interchangeable between the two lines. Here are several different McFarlane figures holding each other's pickaxes. And then here are a couple of McFarlane figures holding the Jazwares pickaxes, and Jazwares figures holding the McFarlane pickaxes, showing they are interchangeable between the two different companies. Next, let's look at his gun. This is a burst assault rifle, specifically a legendary or epic version. It's no longer currently in the game, but this one looks pretty cool. A little bit oversized. You can see the clip behind the handle with the trigger. Overall, it looks nice, fairly game accurate, a little bit blocky. You can see the different colors and sculpting details on it. As you can see, here he is holding this burst assault rifle. His trigger finger on this guy is on his left hand. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad, him holding it. His trigger finger does actually go into the weapon. And here's this burst assault rifle next to all the different assault rifles McFarlane has made so far. This is the standard assault rifle. This is the Scar or legendary assault rifle. Here's a suppressed assault rifle. And now we've got the legendary burst assault rifle. And then here's his gun next to all the different guns that McFarlane has released for their Fortnite figures, not including the doubles. And then here are all the McFarlane guns and Jazwares guns. They've released quite an arsenal now, and I must say they are interchangeable between both brands of figures. Here are several of the McFarlane Fortnite figures holding each other's guns, showing you that pretty much any gun works with any of the figures. And then here are some of the McFarlane figures holding Jazware weapons and Jazware figures holding McFarlane weapons, showing that they are interchangeable between the two different brands. Next, let's see how he fits in with the McFarlane Glider and McFarlane Quad Crasher. Here he is next to the Launchpad Glider set. So far, scaling up pretty good. Here he is getting ready to launch himself off and glide away. And then the answer is yes, he does work with a McFarlane Glider. As you can see, his hands can grip on it. I usually wrap their feet around the stand, but it looks pretty good and does work out. What's Fortnite without a glider, right? And then here he is driving McFarlane's Quad Crasher. He does fit in it, although to have him hold the handles, he'd have to lean forward and kind of be risen off the seat a little bit. And then here he is riding on the back of the Quad Crasher, trying to get some kills while Dyer drives him. Next, I'd like to look at these guys with some other accessories that I like to use to enhance my Fortnite figures. Here they are in a couple of shopping carts, two duos pushing against each other, trying to roll into each other and shoot each other at the same time. The shopping cart's been vaulted from the game for a while, but it was the first sort of vehicle we ever had. Speaking of shopping carts, the shopping cart set from McFarlane is on pre-order from Amazon.com for a pretty good price, $39 for two figures in a shopping cart. It's supposed to be out in late October. Here he is healing up with a campfire. I had this campfire from one of my NECA Friday the 13th Jason action figures and realized it was perfect for these Fortnite figures. Now that we've taken a very in-depth look at his accessories, next let's check out the height of this figure. So this figure here, from bottom to top, is sitting at just about 7.0 inches. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So, starting with his head here, of course his head can go from side to side. I noticed that it has articulation below the head at the neck here and at the base of the neck as well. Of course, he can look up and down with a combination of both about that far, which is quite nice, and up that far. His shoulders are on a ball joint, they can go out that far, but more than just a ball joint. There's two different pieces of articulation here, so it goes well above 90 degrees. He's got a ball joint in this top part here, as you can kind of see down below there, and it can move. But he also has articulation between his chest and shoulder area, so he's just got so much range of motion with his arms here. Really, really nice. He's got a bicep cut below that. He's got double jointed elbows below that and go all the way in. His wrist, of course, it can swivel around and is hinged as well. He has ab articulation here, not just an ab crunch or a swivel, it's kind of both. The ball joint inside of here, so it can rotate a little bit and it can go forward and back some. Then he's got another ball joint at the bottom here. It can rotate around just a tiny bit and forward and back just a tiny bit as well. His legs go out about that far. As you can see, the articulation's kind of unique. This part here can move, and then it can also move down below a little bit. So they can go forward about that far, back really not at all, and out that far. Double joint knees and go back that far. Then his foot, it's got a ball above here, so it can go forward and back right now. And if you were to turn the ball and then turn his foot back, it could go from side to side. Really kind of a pain to get that to work right. And then he has toe articulation at the front here. And his foot, of course, it can go from side to side. Next, let's check him out compared with some other action figures. Starting comparing him with some Fortnite figures, and then seeing how he fits in with other action figure lines. So first of all, let's check him out compared with the 6-inch version of Havoc they've already released. This one is from Jazwares. So, these two guys are based off the exact same skin. Their heads are similar. As a whole, this guy's a lot softer of the sculpt. The Jazwares one, McFarlane one looks quite a bit better and is also taller. Here's their height together. They have the same bullets on the front, same sort of hood, scarf area, same tattoo, but looking quite a bit different. The camo, the harness here, the zipper. I notice his seems to be centered for the most part, and his seems to be on the side. Just kind of interesting, the similarities, yet differences between the two, and they come with a different back bling, that's for sure. Here he is next to a couple of the most recently released McFarlane Fortnite figures. We've got Dire, Havoc, and then Inferno. The next figures we're coming out is Prisoner. He's going to be the next one. He should drop any day now. And then Red Strike, which is an Amazon exclusive, should be next. And then I believe Peely will be coming shortly afterwards. Here he is next to Overtaker and the Ice King. These are the two from the previous assortment. Here he is next to the entire McFarlane Fortnite collection. Here's one of each figure they've released so far. And then here he is next to my entire McFarlane Fortnite collection. You may wonder why I have so many doubles. I got numerous Skull Troopers to use as Scarecrow henchmen in my Batman world. And I got all 4 wildcards to have all 4 different heads on display at the same time. I use them as my Royal Flush Gang in my DC Batman world. And then here he is next to all the different Jazwares figures they've released so far. Notice these guys are a little bit shorter than him. Jazwares are 6-inch, McFarlane 7-inch scale. Plenty more Jazwares on the way as well. And here he is next to my entire 6 and 7-inch Fortnite collection. Getting to be a lot of figures to choose from at this point. Like I said before, got the Rabbit Raiders for Mad Hatter Henchmen, the 4 wild cards for the Royal Flush Gang, and a bunch of Skull Troopers for Scarecrow henchmen in my Batman world. And then here he is in a huge Battle Royale with all of my Fortnite figures. All of them. Trying to see if we can get more kills. You can see they're driving, exploding each other, gliding, getting loot. You can see they're healing. Each guy trying to snipe each other, explode each other. Each of these guys trying to get the win. And then if you're planning to mix this guy with other action figure lines, or if you're just curious how he fits in both scale and style wise, here he is next to some of his McFarlane brothers. These are some figures from 4 different McFarlane action figure lines. Here he is next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys figures. Here he is next to several different NECA action figures. Here he is next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And then here he is next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And then here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 soft cloth goods action figures. Here he is next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. Here he is next to some Mafex figures. And then here he is next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. And then here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, I'm going to say this is a pretty nice figure. He's definitely nicer than the Jazwares counterpart. As a whole, I like the McFarlane figures better. Just better detail. This guy's articulation is pretty good. Very smooth. I'm going to say that his ankles are quite loose for me. One little negative part of this guy. I can see a lot of uses for a guy in camo outfit like this in my action figure world. If I were to rate this figure, I'd go ahead and probably give him a 7 out of 10. He's a pretty solid figure. He feels good and he looks good. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.